Hey there, Broniacs. Welcome back to Bronze Over Brains. I'm your man, Bronson Layton, of course, and guys, it's great to see you. I hope everyone is having a great summer so far. I know I've been saying that in the last several videos, but come on, let's be honest. Depending on where you are, it may be a nice day outside, so we could all be either at work or we could be out playing in the sun. We could be on a vacation and whatnot. Just whatever you do, I just hope you're enjoying it. And speaking of going to work, I actually have a bit of a topic today that I want to discuss with you as quickly as I can, because with work, I actually have a few things to take care of before the fall semester begins with me going back to teaching. So I'm going to upload this video for you on how autism and balancing out the hardships of adult life can be for a lot of us. So without further ado, let's get into the video. As I mentioned in the introduction of this video, I really wanted to give a discussion on how autistic people like me balance out our responsibilities between work and home life. And in general, for everyone out there, it is a heavy, stressful thing to find a counterbalance in everything that we do in our personal lives and our professional lives. But in particular, I have to really go on the topic of autism because, well, for one thing, it's been a while since I've actually done an autism-based video, because with everything that's been going on in the last year and a half, the less I've been away from this channel, the more I've been focusing on my work. And that's sort of like one of the themes that I'm talking about today. And I actually have a guest joining us on today's video to help us get some insight into the topic. But first, I would like to talk about how autistic people like me, we tend to find that whenever we are passionate about something, we stick to that particular task as much as we can, and that particularly goes into our work. Let's say that there is someone who is on the spectrum, right? And they decided to go into a career where they are like beta testers for video games, right? Now, it's 2023, and a lot of us out there can simply say that being a beta tester in a lot of ways can be a job. And it is a job. As long as you're making money off of it, that's a job, right? Well, people on the spectrum, they tend to take their passions and their careers and blend it together to really make it as if it's a hobby in itself. Their work becoming a hobby. Let me give you a more specific example. In my case, I have had different jobs in the last 10 years. I've been working on and off jobs since I was 16, from when I worked at a grocery store all the way to now, me being an English professor. Now, every single task I had in my career, I would like to get one particular thing done before I get to the next step. Let's say that in my professor position, I would like to focus on grading papers all the way through on one class before I move on to responding to emails. And in my case, I can grade stuff like within an hour's time. It generally depends on how many students and how much work they have to turn in at one time. But in general, I can get all that done in an hour and then respond to emails. And then when I'm done checking and responding to emails, I move on to grading another particular assignment. And then if there is like a meeting involved, I would go to the meeting. And so also when I'm teaching, I would like to teach one particular class, make sure that every single student is on the right path, following my advice before I move on to the next subject. I teach with PowerPoints and I stay on one particular slide, and then I ask students right before I move on to the next slide, is everybody with me so far? And I ask that for every slide because I want to make sure that I don't leave anyone behind. And so if everyone or most everyone nods, I move on to the next subject. That's how I am with my work. I am always about helping people stay on track with lessons and going down the list of completing my grading and emailing tasks. And so what you all just heard was my responsibilities for work. Now, imagine all that, and I balance that out with going home and taking care of stuff that isn't work related. For instance, I have a routine that involves coming home and I set my work stuff down, and usually I like to, if there's some chores that have to be taken care of around the place, I would tend to those. And honestly, I love doing a few chores after work because it helps me decompress from all the work that I've had to go through during the day. And so like I would wash dishes, I would vacuum, I even straighten up a few things around the living room. And so for any of you out there who may remember my fiance, I mentioned before that she's a chiropractic student. She has a different routine of her own, and I'm not going to go into that because it's personal business. But I want to make sure that at the end of the day, right before she comes home, I want to prepare us a great dinner. And as I'm cooking dinner, I make a mental list of what I need to do to finish up my work from teaching. Like, when do I need to get onto my computer and start grading and looking at emails? And, how long would I do that before bed? Because I need my 8 hours of sleep. I'm not gonna lie to you, when I started my job last fall, that was like a lot to balance out personally because I had never before had a routine like that. It was like living a double life. And in a lot of ways it still is, even though I got some kind of grip on it. It's all about having your priorities in order, so to speak. And if there are any autistic viewers out there watching this, I imagine that you don't like to overwhelm yourselves with doing more than what you feel like is asked out of you, if that makes sense. And that also goes for the general viewers out there. We don't want to overextend ourselves because while we want to find a balance between our home life and our work life, we don't really want to do extra things that could make us be stressed out even more. For instance, if you have a job, you work there and you go home and you take care of a few things, it is naturally a good idea to stick to that kind of schedule. However, if you have like children and you have some errands to run, the children are a high priority. Let's say that if you don't have children, try to think of your work-home balance as the only priority that you have. Because if you don't have any children to take care of, you have to always be your number one priority. You have to survive. You have to make your potential significant other or spouse survive if you have one. And you got to keep a roof over your head. We got to do whatever it takes to have shoes on our feet, food on our table, clothes on our backs, and a roof over our head. I don't have the magic answer to how we can easily balance out everything in our lives, because let's be honest, we're only human, and there's no way that we can have a peaceful life when we need to do what needs to be done. So I mentioned earlier, I have a guest here who really has some insight into her home and work balance. I really hope you enjoy listening to what she has to say, because she's a real good friend of mine, and I met her through my autism advocacy a few years back, and we've been good friends ever since. Now it's your turn, Broniacs, to get to meet her and hear her insight on how she handles the hardships of adult life. So I'm going to let her take it away.
Hi guys, so my name is Kenzie. I am a 21-year-old autistic female. And autistic was being hard at first, but now I'm just me. Let's just say how that is. And I work in a workplace. I do veggies, fruits, and I also stock fruits and veggies. You will not believe how many fruits and veggies exist that I had no idea about. It's so crazy. But like adjusting to work life, it was very hard at first because this is my very first job. And I'll be honest, y'all, I was so nervous about it, like so nervous. But I then got used to it. I've been working 2 years. I love the industry. It's awesome. Also, as being an autistic adult female, I really do not like loud noises. Also, some people they overwhelm me. Like, most people are fine. That's autistic, likes to go to concerts. Let me tell you, I'm not a fan of concerts. If I have to, I will, but I'm a person who, I would love a library because it's quiet, peaceful. I like anything that is peaceful, honey, let me tell you. It's awesome. I also love gardening. Let me tell y'all, honey, bunches of oats. I got some big old tomatoes, some big son of guns. Also, my daddy has cucumbers. I love cucumbers to death. You know, let me talk about redneck potatoes. Oh, them things are good. So you put some crackers and you put some mayonnaise and then you put cucumber and salt and pepper. It's so good. So, with my experience with autism, I have done learning that, I have a hard time with hand coordination and stuff like that. I don't know if anyone else does that's on the spectrum. And let me say it, not all autistic people are the same. We are all different, and that's what makes us so special. And I'll be honest, I love myself to death. I'm finally saying that. So let's talk about having a routine. So my routine normally is Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday normally. I wake up about 5:30 every morning, and I normally get a shower, and then I go to work from about 7 to about 2:30, 3:30, depends on my schedule. And then I come home, and right now, since it's summer, who wouldn't want to swim in a pool, right? So obviously I get in the pool, and then so after that, I just chill. And sometimes I watch a movie. I like romance. I'm a romance girl. You know, so that's about it. I want to get back starting reading because I love to read a lot. I like Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Have you ever read that? Oh my gosh, I love you. You're my best friend now. Also, you know, sometimes life can be woo-wee, and sometimes it's hard to balance life also. But I've done found a way. And to anyone who is struggling with that right now, like, just get one of them little composition notebooks. You know, one of them things you can get at Walmart. I forgot how much they are because the current went up now. And just like write down your schedule. And also, I don't know if any of y'all are healthy or whatever. We all not healthy. We all know that too. But like, maybe if you like fruits and veggies, you can get stuff like that. And yeah, so, and to anyone who is like struggling with their stuff right now, just know that always be yourself and don't let no one stop you for what you're doing. You're doing great. Bye, guys.
Makenzie, thank you so much for your insight. And we really appreciate everything that you just told us about your work-life balance. And I hope you Broniacs out there, you really benefited from what she had to say. I really enjoyed her contribution to this topic, and I hope you guys do too. So one more time, thank you, Makenzie, for joining us today on today's vlog. And this is where we're gonna leave off for today, Broniacs. I'm sorry this video is getting cut a little short. Like I said, I have a few things to do before the fall semester begins, so I wanted to get this video out there before things get too busy for me. Like I said, I have my balance and I'm planning ahead for it. And one more thing, if you enjoyed watching our content, please consider subscribing to Bronze Over Brains here on YouTube. We would love to have you join the Broniac army. And in closing, guys, I again hope you have a great summer. And for all you parents out there, get ready for back to school shopping very soon, because I hear that tax-free weekend is up and coming, so might want to get ready for that. The stores are going to be packed. Wait until I'm a dad and I'm going to be helping with the back to school shopping. Anyway, in closing, this is Bronze Over Brains. I'm Bronson Layton, always reminding you to stay brawny. See you guys later.